As a police officer, I've seen many horrific scenes, but none compared to what awaited me on a Christmas day in Meaux, a city to the east of Paris. The bloodstained entrance to an apartment sent shivers through me, immediately setting the tone for what was inside. The local residents were petrified, and instinctively I knew this. This was not going to be like any other case. My team and I cautiously stepped into the apartment, and we were met with an unbearable sight. A sight that would torment me for years to come. A mother and her four children, lifeless. The youngest was a baby of just 9 months. The oldest, a 10-year-old. Their quiet, unmoving forms were a stark reminder of the brutal act of violence that had robbed them of life. The local prosecutor, Jean-Baptiste Bladier, described the scene as one of extraordinary violence. It was shocking, even for us seasoned detectives. The entire community was shell-shocked, tranquility disrupted by this heinous act. Our duty was to restore some of peace amidst the pandemonium, swiftly. The father, arrested the following Tuesday, was promptly identified as the lead suspect in this horrifying family tragedy. The question that plagued us was, what could drive a man to such extremes, to inflict such unspeakable violence on his own kin? The chilling sight of the blood-smeared entrance to the apartment was a sinister foreshadowing of the terror that was to come. The chilling sight of the blood pool outside the apartment was a ghastly harbinger of the horror that awaited us inside. As I delved deeper into the crime scene, I uncovered a tale of shocking violence. The tranquility of the home had been shattered. A mother and her young daughters fell prey to a savage attack, their bodies bearing multiple stab wounds, silent testimony to unimaginable fury. The apartment's walls, if they could talk, would narrate a chilling story. The victims weren't just the mother and daughters but also their two who met an equally gruesome end. Suffocation or drowning, a silent theater of the macabre. As I examined the evidence, the reason behind the brutality remained a puzzle. What could fuel such a violent rage against a family, especially by a family the signs pointed to the father, resulting in his arrest? But the burning question remained. What incited him to brutally harm? Despite the mounting evidence and the arrest of the father, the driving force behind these ruthless killings remained shrouded in mystery. The suspect, a 33-year-old man from the Paris suburb of Colombes, wasn't unknown to me due to his brutish behavior. I had seen his file, filled with numerous records of violence, each incident a flag raising his predisposition towards heinous acts. In 2017, this tormented man was institutionalized. Supposedly within the cold walls of a psychiatric facility, he was meant to find a path towards healing. But the very same year, he attempted suicide, desperate call for help, indicative of his deep-seated distress. By 2019, his violent tendencies had alarmingly escalated. He reportedly assaulted his partner, who was then expecting their first child. This shocking act of violence against a woman, soon to be a mother, sadly didn't lead to any significant consequences for him. His partner, a future victim of his wrath, had already experienced his violent outbursts once. Despite the obvious danger, the assault investigation was abruptly dropped, freeing him to commit further egregious acts. Declared unstable at the time, this man remained at large. This detail, in light of the recent tragedy, prompted me to question how our systems handle individuals with mental health struggles who pose a potential danger to those around them. My experience with this couple was one of the most haunting in my years of service. They shared a history steeped in love, a bond that started in their teens and spanned 14 beautiful years. They grew together from awkward adolescence to mature adulthood, weathering life's milestones. But as I probed further, a darker narrative unfolded. The man, once loved deeply by his partner, had a past tainted with violence and mental instability. His history, overlooked by those around them, shocked me. It was in 2019, a year meant for joy as they expected their first child, that he attacked her. He harmed on the woman he claimed to love, the woman bearing his unborn child. The investigation into this dreadful incident was dropped as he was deemed mentally unfit during the attack. I found out this was not his first brush with mental health issues. In 2017, he had been admitted to a psychiatric hospital after a failed suicide attempt, a desperate plea for help. Yet, these red flags were either misunderstood or intentionally ignored. The signs were there, the alarm was ringing, but it fell on deaf ears. The man's history of mental health issues and violence by those who knew them added to the grimness of the situation. The incident was a testament to an alarming lack of awareness about mental health issues. It was a tragic tale of love spiraling into a horrifying nightmare, a complex web of love, betrayal and mental health issues. Yet these warning signs were either missed or deliberately ignored. As I press on with our investigation into these chilling homicides, the suspect waits to meet his destiny. A horrifying tale of 5 gruesome murders has left our community in shock. The suspect, a man of 33 years from an ordinary neighborhood, now resides within our station's bleak confines. His capture has placed him under relentless scrutiny. His every action is scrutinized, casting doubt over his mental stability. To get to the core of his mind, he is undergoing a comprehensive psychological assessment. This probe seeks to uncover his motives and evaluate his mental health. His mind, an enigma since the start of the investigation, now stands on the verge of disclosure. The suspect's psychiatric records reveal a disturbing past, including time spent in a mental institution and an attempted suicide. These elements present a likely cornerstone for his defense, which will undoubtedly be a challenging endeavor under the public and media's watchful eyes. However, an unsettling fact overshadows this narrative. It's known that he once stabbed his partner, a horrifying testament to his violent tendencies. This grim detail, indicative of his propensity for violence, is something I'll certainly not ignore. In the aftermath of this horrifying crime, my team and I uncovered 5 victims in an apartment in East Paris. These were a mother and her 4 children who fell victim to a terrifying act of violence. The father, a 33-year-old, emerged as the main suspect, his past characterized by aggression and conflict. The woman had endured alongside him for 14 years, their love story beginning in high school. Their story, filled with trials and tribulations, ended brutally, leaving us shocked. Now, the reality of this event has set in. The wheels of justice are in motion. The suspect is charged with 5 counts of homicide. A psychiatric evaluation will significantly impact the course of the legal process. This is no ordinary crime, it's chilling saga of a family's tragic downfall. A stark reminder of the hidden horrors that can lurk behind seemingly normal facades.